Today we're going to talk about two books I've read recently. They were a bit disappointing reads to me for different reasons, but I didn't want to talk about them in the monthly wrap-up, so let me talk about this. The first one is this one, which is Them by W.H. Chizmar, and this book was published by Leviathan Press publication. This is number 522 out of 600 copies plus a couple of PC copies, and since I received this book I was greatly interested on it. First, it dealt with a kind of post-apocalyptic or stuff that happened, and Earth became an invasion center of some alien beings. That was that I knew that was the book about. I didn't know much about it, but basically I knew that this was about a book about the end of the world. In case it was an ongoing, okay, even the synopsis says like it is like top secret government project as upon a revolutionary idea for transporting matter across the vast reaches of the universe, as they succeed in bringing something back, something alive, something alien that bring back them. They bring back them. Okay, them. So this is the master. So I hoped when I received this book and when I got this book, I immediately thought, okay, I want to read this. I have hundreds or thousands books to read, but this one kept my attention because it's something I wanted to do. Post-apocalyptic thriller, something like that, or unfortunately that's not it. Basically this book is about, I read this in under 24 hours, so not one day but 24 hours. I started in the afternoon, ended in the next day afternoon, and this book is told in two perspectives. So the first perspective is told in this book is told like that, in italics. It's like a journal, something like that. And then the second part of the novel is told the normal way, like the novel. But right from the start, something was off. First I thought, okay, these are the same people, but different timelines. But then something started, okay, probably not. But we do know in the end if it's the same person or not. But one thing that upsets me on this is the way it's written, okay, the book. Basically, it's written like the man walked the countryside and followed. He moved through, he's done, he tread, push, again, in the next phrase, like every other not chapter, but every other couple of sentences, yeah, it's the man did this, the man did that, the man did that. And this part of the novel upsets me, the way it was written, okay? It's just to me, personally, so other person might enjoy it, but to me personally, it was not that good. Then, again, besides the journal part, which is interlinked, like imagine every black line, as you see there, it's the intermission. The intermission part is interesting because it tells you, okay, what happened. It's like a view to the past, to what happened, what brought this, and so on. That part was interesting. But then the part of survival, it's just a survival story. And probably 80% of the book, there is no interaction between two characters. Okay, besides the journal part, there are a couple, but very, very, very rare. So this is more a survival, like, I don't want to say the road, but it's something like that. I don't know. It's depressing because he is all alone and so on, but nothing happens, my God. Nothing happens about this book. I know this is probably more mind-focused novel, but it's very boring to me. It was very boring. I read this fast, okay, because it's written in a way that's to be read fast, but it's boring, and I didn't enjoy the book as much as I hoped. The ending almost makes up for it, but it doesn't. To be honest, I didn't care. So I didn't care about the character. I honestly didn't care about any of them. It's a redeeming, and then I saw a good reason. It's a redeeming, whatever. It is not redeeming. Both guys did something awful, and they want to redeem. Doesn't stick with me. This book was filled with nothing. Okay, I've read far better books in terms of post-apocalyptic, and then Josh Malerman comes talk about this, and it reads like a Josh Malerman, which I didn't enjoy. So maybe that's it, something. Then the edition itself, it's brilliant. Okay, the book costs around $80 or $20. It's already sold out, but it's very beautiful. The cover, everything is beautiful. The inside information is very beautiful. There are nice descriptions of the aliens made by the author, but again, the story itself felt flat to me. So it was a very disappointing because I had high expectations. Okay, so maybe it's my problem and not a problem of the book itself, but unfortunately that's the way reviews do, and reviews are created and books are written. They are in this perspective of the person. So when people say, oh, I don't like to do bad reviews, why not? Because a book, I don't believe there is a bad book or a good book universally speaking. There may be books that are on the higher end or the low end, but I bet that someone enjoys the lowest good read books that's there. And some people might hate other interesting books, like Lord of the Rings is the best example. Some people say it's the top fantasy of the all time, and some people call it boring. So to each his own. Okay? So it's not something I have against the author. If you write something more, probably if the story interests me, I will buy it. But at this stage, no, I didn't enjoy it. I gave it 40 out of 100. The second book that disappoints me a lot is The Sand of Angels. This is the 6th book on the Horus heresy novel, and the first one that deals with dark angels. Okay, so the first 200 pages is about, it's a fantasy world where there are some kind of order and there is kind of monsters and they are hunting monsters. Just that. We've got introduction about the lion and Luther and some dealings with Lord Cypher and so on, but basically it's a fantasy novel in the Warhammer 40k world. Then the Dark Angels, well, not Dark Angels, but the Astartes arrived, and they immediately tried to bring up Lion to his Primarch level. Some of these warriors become Astartes, some others did not. For example, Luther, which is second in command, does not, because he is too old to do the procedures. Some other two guys that are the main characters, yes, they do. Then there are like 100 pages of this initial clash between the Imperium and the Caliban, okay, which was interesting. Kindly, we get to see how the Imperium do these kind of transitions between a world that is long lost and to the Imperium. Compliance, basically like that, either by force or by willing. And the last 100 pages, the Dark Angels are already Space Marines. Okay, so there is a jump of time there that we don't know much about it, how many time or which time and so on. And then there are like 50 pages that they are transitioned to a world where something evil is going on, and then the Dark Angels are there to control, to make the compliance of the world, and they have to deal with this. Basically, don't have much information about that. I think I will search it, but I think that's a demon, kind of a demon thing, that is conjured from the warp, and they have to battle it. This is the first hint of chaos, not chaos, but first hints of rebellion, you might say it, between dark angels. As you know, dark angels are a predominant force of the Imperium, but there are some that don't follow the dark angel, the normal dark angel. They are the fallen angels. They told us they are chaos people, but knowing Lord Cypher, I don't think that's it. So something more is going on. I didn't read much about this because I wanted to read here, but I believe this story will start in the next book, because in this book ends with some of these characters going back to their home world, Caliban, including Luther. And Luther has misgivings about this Primarch. He doesn't want to be in the shadow of the Primarch, and he even thinks about committing a crime against Lion. Basically, letting a bomb go off and killing all of the Primarch and so on. He does redempt, but something happens on that world due to the war, due to something like that, and now they are going back. So probably this book is not complete. I believe the next book, which is going to be Fallen Angels, is the continuation of this one. What I didn't enjoy about this book, the pace. It's all over the place. You've got 200 pages of slow burning fantasy kind of introduction to the Order, then whoosh, off you go. I will not tell you what happens, and you just have to believe it, that the word transition, because transition, people going against and so on. So it's very abrupt, these three changes. It's like he wrote a novella, a fantasy, then someone told him, okay, but I don't want fantasy, put that in here in the Warhammer 40k, and then transition to Warhammer 40k, and some changes were made, and here it is. It's like two novellas. Like he wrote one and then wrote the other. It doesn't feel disconjoint. Okay, so I didn't enjoy the book. I gave it 60 out of 100. It's a 3-star book, and it's not more because first it felt incomplete, probably because there is a second novel, but mostly because it didn't tell us anything. Okay, it's the first book of Doctors of 6 that tells about this introduction. In the other 5 books, they are already Astartes, and here is the first part, the first insight of what is to become, what is Astartes, and so on. So it's cool. But it felt disconcerting. That's it. Yeah. So these are the 2 latest books I read. One I enjoyed, but felt I needed more, and this one was, again, probably my expectations were so high and it brought down a little. Again, I see the writing style, a lot of Stephen King, Josh Merriman, but don't expect much about the outcome. And I expected more, much more, and it's just a guy going from one place to the other, escaping aliens, and intervals there are like description of aliens, and that's it. Off you go. So yeah, that was the last book from me. Next, I'm going to read the X-Files, Goblin. I'm trying to work to read the X-Files, to watch again X-Files from the beginning, and I bought these books, and then I wanted to read, to know about this. Yeah, so that's it for me, these 2 reviews. Thank you all. Hope you enjoyed this format.